Hey, beautiful people. How are you? I'm just dropping in today, a quick check-in around Yay and to give some follow-up of my three-part series on that. But I do want to interrupt that conversation by saying my condolences goes out to Takeoff and his family, his friends, his loved ones, particularly his mom. No mother should have to bury her child, and no one should have to deal with losing a child through such violence. Violence is not the way, and no one is prepared for something like that. And I am not speaking from someone who hasn't experienced it or don't fully understand it. I do understand. I have lost someone to murder, and I've seen someone and many people suffer from the fact that their children were taken from them prematurely. And it is never an easy thing to deal with, and it's very difficult to cope with. And in fact, you never really get over it. You sort of learn to deal with it and move through life with them in your heart and in your soul. But you always have a hope that one day no one will ever need to experience something like that, a loss like that. To lose someone by violence, senseless violence, is the most difficult thing to cope with because you never really fully understand why. In this particular case, Takeoff was known to be a good person. He wasn't in any kind of trouble. So, it's not like you could defer or kind of deflect by saying, oh, well, maybe he deserved it because he was out there doing something. By all accounts, he was very much innocent and was one that was not about the trouble and the drama. So again, my condolences to her, and my services are here for them if they need them. And I do want to say that, when will the violence stop? When will it stop? When will we move past this self-hate, where when we look at one another, we do not see a brother, we do not see a sister, we don't even see someone worthy of life. I was looking at a video, and you just don't know when you're watching things how much of it is real, or what it is. But there was a gentleman in the crowd holding on to the gun, and I'm watching him, and I don't know, was he holding on to the gun because maybe he thought something was about to, as they say, pop off? Or was he holding it because he was actually preparing to shoot this young man? Whatever it is, the level of anger that you see in one's face, in one's energy, in one's spirit when they go to take someone's life, it is the worst thing you ever want to see. And there's tons of footage on TV now, particularly on YouTube, because there's cameras everywhere, so you're able to catch these things in real time. There was a woman recently, she just went to the ATM, and a brother shot her cold blood right at the ATM as she was withdrawing money in an attempted robbery. It was just something about how cold it was, how disconnected he was from her. Like, you can see his face, like there was almost like a flat affect. Was there something going on? Was he having a schizo? Right? Was he in a psychotic state or dealing with some kind of schizoaffective disorder? Like, what is going on with our people? We need to understand what's behind this. We cannot continue. We cannot survive as a race. I see so many people trying to do good things in the community for the young people, for people in business and all sorts of things. But what is it all worth when we don't have a mindset of love? When we don't have a mindset of caring, when we don't have a mindset of hope? It has to stop. And I'm sorry, I think we should boycott music that is death music, music that is promoting hurting, killing, violence, even domestic violence against women, glorifying addiction. Do you know what it's like to live with an addiction? I was watching a documentary with, oh my God, it was, I'll get his name, but he talked about going through addiction all of his life almost, and how much he became so dependent on what he referred to as the white chick, right? And he was addicted to cocaine, and he had a lot of money, you know. Rick James. And, we dismiss people like that because they're like, oh, they're just a crackhead or they're just a junkie. No. When you are getting high, you are self-medicating a pain, something that's hurting you mentally, something that's hurting you emotionally. You haven't figured out healthy coping skills. So you lean on excessive alcohol or substances. And God knows we don't even know what these street level drug dealers are putting in the drugs that people are copying, for lack of a better term. In addition, our mind is being inundated every day with songs and music and information that makes us seem less than human. It's us. We need to come up with the answers. 70%, again, single parent households. How are you supposed to work 60, 70 hours a week and raise your children? When they become teenagers, they need even more help, even more guidance, even more support. Who's showing them different skills, exposing them to different things, different countries, different parts of the country that they even live in? Do they have friends in all walks of life? A diverse pool of people whom they can learn from, eat with, enjoy, understand how other cultures connect. I don't have answers. I'm just having this conversation with you. This is my platform, Dr. Elisa's World, and my world does involve emotional and mental health. That's what I do. Not only as a profession, but I've experienced it. And I've spent my life healing. And healing comes in many forms. Healing comes in reflection. Healing comes in conversations. Healing comes in effective communication. Healing comes in meditation. Healing comes in quiet time and space. Healing comes from eating right. Healing comes from sleeping right. Healing comes from going to get your medical checkups because you don't know what's going on with you physically. That may be attributing to how your mind is thinking, how you're unable to regulate your emotions. This is what I do. And so it's important for me to use this platform to continue to lift the sense of urgency. We are in a state of emergency, as the good sister Tamika Mallory points out in her book. We're in a state of emergency. And whether we want to accept it or not, it's here. It's staring us in the face. When your children are slaughtered in the street, day after day, night after night, month after month, year after year, your community is going to hell in a handbasket. And you can't just say, oh, I'm moving here and I'm in the good neighborhood, because your children are exposed to the same thing. I want to continue to have these conversations and never get away from expressing yourself. That's what it's all about. Sharing. Children want to share. That's why we're unable to regulate sometimes, because we're lost for words in terms of communicating. Or when we communicate, we don't think it is coming across strong enough. No, it's not that serious. We take people too serious, and we take ourselves too serious sometimes. We don't need to take ourselves so serious. We just need to be serious about our self-care. Serious about our self-love, serious about how we work together.